Kerry Mangerson. I'm a Professor of Statistics at QUT in Brisbane, and I work in lots of areas that involve statistics, and one of the great joys for me is working with people from different disciplines, both within science and then also outside of science, and bringing together working in parallel, both the methodology and the theory of statistics, and also then the application of that work to the particular area that these people are interested in. So they're experts in their area and I bring expertise from statistics, and together then we can move both the areas of statistics forward and the areas that they're working in as well. So that covers, for example, ecology, health, industry, business, and so on. And so for example, the great thing for me is that I get to go to, when I'm working with people like clinicians, I get to go and stand in a brain operating theatre, looking at how the data are collected and people are treated for Parkinson's disease treatment. It doesn't work for everybody. We can contribute by asking who does it work for. I can't answer those questions or do those kinds of analyses by myself. They have added value by having somebody to help with the analyses, and so together we move forward with that area of research. From the statistical perspective then, we're asking the question of how do we analyse these different data, and that leads then to new methods, new theory, new computational approaches and so on. So another collaboration that I work on is with Airports of the Future, and this is a large collaboration between people from human systems, from engineering, from business process management, and from statistics, and we're looking at the airport as a complex system, and it brings together the expertise of all of these research areas, working then with the people in the airports to try to improve airport systems. And so it can be about passenger experience, wayfinding, efficiency, security, and for us then, it's as statisticians, it's the analysis of all forms of data, then putting all of that information together into a complex systems model. So there's a lot there in collaboration both within the science and then also with the people who are actually going to use the results to improve our airports. So that's why I do collaborations, and that's why it's a great job to have, and it makes the job so much richer.
My name is Dan Shechtman. I am a distinguished professor at the Technion. I also have a position in Iowa State University, and I'm professor of material science. Born in Israel, educated in Israel, and did all my degrees at the Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, BSc in mechanical engineering, MSc and PhD in materials engineering. Ever since then, I do research. My postdoc was in the United States, and then I came back to the Technion, got a position as a lecturer, and went up the promotion ladder, and became a distinguished professor many years ago. For my work, I have received many prizes, including the Nobel Prize in 2011. I have 10 grandchildren, 4 children and 1 wife. And I live in Haifa, Israel, most of the time. You know, science today is very interdisciplinary. You have to have experts in several fields in order to accomplish something which is very meaningful. And this is one reason why we need collaboration. We need experts from many fields. Also, from practical reasons, the sponsors would like to see a large group working on a subject for the same reasons that I have mentioned before, and so a collaboration helps in getting funding to do science. This collaboration can be national, can be within the institute, it can be within the country, it can be international, In fact, in most cases it is international. Science today is very international, and there's a lot of collaboration around the globe between scientists who do research on the same topic. And while one can cover the chemistry, another can cover the physics, another the mathematics, and so on, and together we build a team which can really make a difference in discoveries. I can tell you that the discovery I made in 1982 of quasi-periodic materials, I did not publish any paper until 1984 because there was a lot of knowledge missing. I did not quite understand what was going on, and a colleague of mine, Ilan Blech, who was a professor at Technion at the time, he developed a model that would explain my findings, and he was really instrumental in the writing of the first paper that we published. And then I had collaboration with people in the United States and from France, and together we published another paper, a more concise paper that we sent for quick publication, and all of these were collaborations. We collaborate with our students, we collaborate with other professors here and there and everywhere. The world of science is a very communicating field, and we scientists know our peers around the world. We know very many of them, and we do collaborate, and we do meet in conferences, and we do share information. So collaboration is really important. It is essential nowadays in order to have different expertise to tackle a major problem.
My name is Amy Perforce. I work at the University of Adelaide in Australia. I think collaboration is absolutely vital to good science, mainly because no one person can know everything, and you get really, by talking to a lot of people, you get much better ideas, and also it's a heck of a lot more fun to sit around and talk science with people. So I do a lot of my best work with collaborations, and a lot of the work I most enjoy. A personal experience, well, I mean, almost all my work is collaborative. So, in my lab at the University of Adelaide, it's actually a joint lab with a fellow researcher, and we do a lot of projects together. Everything I do is collaborative, and it's been very useful.
Hi, I'm Thomas Lumley. I'm Professor of Biostatistics at the University of Auckland. I do a lot of collaborative research, and it's important because no one knows everything. So I work with people in medicine, and they know about medicine, they know about treating patients, they know about biology. I know about study design and genetics and how to compute and analyze things, and so we need to work together. One of the collaborations I've been involved with is with 5 big medical studies around the world. We're looking at genetic causes of heart diseases and diseases of aging, and we're trying to find out more about the basic biology of how this works so that we can look for treatments in the future.
My name is John Dunn. I'm a research psychologist at the University of Adelaide, and this is
Ben Newell. I'm a cognitive psychologist at the University of New South Wales.
Okay. Well, we're here because we have collaborated in the past and may well again in the future. I hope so. And we collaborated on a project that was funded by the Australian Research Council. Ben, you might tell the story.
Well, it began, so we're currently at a meeting of the Mathematical Psychology Society here in Sydney, but I first met John at a meeting of this same society in Adelaide in 2005, and saw him give a paper which I immediately thought that's relevant to the area that I'm interested in, which was category learning. At the time, it still am category learning, and the techniques that John had been using in recognition memory were very relevant to what I was interested in category learning. And that initial talk and then discussion grew into, I think I came for another visit. I came to visit you a couple of times. Yeah. That developed into the grant and some pilot data, and subsequently we've lots of several publications and lots of good feedback on it, and it's continuing. Collaboration. And more work on it was presented at this meeting.
Yes. So I think it's an example of I was working in one area using a set of techniques which Ben rightly identified as being relevant to the work that he was interested in doing in another area entirely that I knew nothing about, and we put the two together, and hybrid vigour erupts, and I think for some very productive and interesting work was done. We published several papers in prestigious journals, and I think the ARC got its money's worth for that. Very productive indeed.
And certainly, from my perspective, made my understanding and my use of different techniques and understanding modelling much richer.
Yeah, I think that's a benefit for all of us. We just learn new things all the time.
My name is Kobe Brinkman. I was born and raised in Holland. I went to university there, studied medicine, but got sidetracked into doing research, so I never became a clinical physician. But I really loved research, which is why I changed direction. When I finished my work for my thesis, I came to Australia for a postdoc and was going to stay for 3 years, and look, here I am. I'm now retired, a visiting fellow in the Department of Psychology at the Australian National University, and obviously still in Australia. So my area of research is neuroscience in general, and my special interest is in control of movement, which was in fact my thesis work, and in the lateralization of the brain, so the idea that we have a left and a right side to the brain which have their own special functions, and in terms of control of movement, handedness is a particular aspect of movement that is lateralized, so that covers both of my research interests. Now, collaboration is important in any field. It's important locally to collaborate with other people in your lab, even though they may not necessarily work exactly in your area, because we all know things that other people don't know, and we may have good hints about how to do things, and I've often had lots and lots of help, and hopefully I've been able to also help other people. Collaboration is important nationally, but I think in a country like Australia, collaboration is also very important internationally. And this now is so easy now that we have email and video links and Skype, and we can communicate with our colleagues so easily. When I first came to Australia, the only way in which you could communicate with any colleagues overseas was by telephone, which was frightfully expensive, and you still had to book it. And the only thing then that you could do was write a letter, which took about 2 weeks, that is, if someone actually replied to you immediately. And I often think, wouldn't it have been marvelous to have email when I was sort of struggling to do something and develop experiments in Australia, where, frankly, we don't have a large number of scientists, perhaps, a large number per population, but within your own field there often aren't many people that are really experts, so you do rely on overseas collaboration. And on the other hand, if you in Australia make an important discovery or find out how to do things really smart, it's really good to communicate that to others. So science and research, and hopefully the sum of knowledge and human well-being and animal well-being can improve because of that. And also, when I was thinking about sort of collaboration and being an older scientist, is that it's very important to collaborate and be supportive of the younger scientists. And I'm not thinking necessarily about students that do a PhD with you in your area, but in a way all the scientists, we have the knowledge of many years in a particular area. We know of things that perhaps have been tried already and may never have been written up. We may know of particular things that might work that all of a sudden come back again because there's fashions in science, they come and go as well in particular areas. So to act as a kind of history book of your discipline for younger students and help them understand what went before is rather important, especially because sometimes it's forgotten that some knowledge is actually available only in book form and not on the internet or electronically otherwise. And this is where personal communication can just be so helpful.
Okay, my name is Surinder Singh and I'm based at CSIRO plant industry here in Canberra. I actually head up a group of 25 scientists and technicians. My group is focused on looking at creating new types of plant oils, and we're looking at creating oils that can be used in food applications for better nutrition, industry, for example, as a replacement of petrochemical products. And recently we are also looking at creating plants that could actually generate specialty fuels like jet fuels, etc. Now, so the area of my research is plant lipids, as I said. Collaboration is a topic that I've been asked to comment on. For science, I think that you live and die by collaboration. One of the really nice things to look at is if you go to Google Scholar, they have a slogan there saying that we stand on the shoulder of giants, and I think that's what collaboration tells you, that science is an ongoing process, and all of the knowledge that has been created in the past, you basically look at that and then you build on the knowledge that is there. And then in any sort of research group, there are people or scientists with different types of expertise, and not any single scientist can have all of the knowledge. So therefore, the only way to actually make progress is that if you work together as a team, and that means that you are actually harnessing the skills of different members in your team, and you bring together, knit together this knowledge, and obviously, which means that you're collaborating very closely on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and even on a longer sort of time frame. And the collaborations don't just limit yourself to your immediate team members or even people within the same organization. In my case, we collaborate very extensively with a whole network of scientists based all over the world. And this allows us to actually access expertise that it just doesn't exist within my own immediate group.
Research here at CSIRO in Land and Water. I predominantly work in the space of environmental flows and ecology, and I predominantly work with ecologists and river systems, kind of modelling people looking at water resource planning. I've been at SIRO for 2.5 years, and prior to being at SIRO I was more of an academic, so I worked at a few universities. So the style of work I do is looking at basically the environmental water requirements of ecological systems. So we've had a big planning exercise around the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, and then a lot of the work that I did there was looking at what the different outcomes are of different scenarios of water plans, and also looking at how much water the environment needs, and looking at things like climate change and trying to understand and predict how our ecosystems will change under scenarios such as that. In terms of collaboration, I've done different styles of collaboration. So I've done collaborations within scientific teams. I've also done collaborative projects working with much more policy and management groups as well, and so a lot of the work that I do is actually translating into basically directing how a policy may look like, or looking at the outcomes of a particular policy. I've also worked on projects which are much more collaborations around trying to understand beyond the science and biophysical understanding of the world, how does ecological benefits translate much more into social outcomes as well, and economic outcomes. So I've done some work looking at collaboration, big collaborative projects where we have social scientists as well as ecologists, river system modellers, economists and the like. And so there's great challenges in working in those kind of big projects, because you all have your own way of thinking and your own kind of silos in terms of how you operate. And so I think the challenges are great, but the benefits are also greater, because the outcomes are something that is often, in terms of the sum of its parts, it's much greater. I guess one of the I think most challenging kind of collaborations I've worked on is when you start to engage directly with the public. And so a lot of the work that I've done is working with farmers, and it's often around understanding what their values are. And so when we look at how we use environmental water and how we understand our ecological systems, we have to also understand what the public believe is important, and understand their values around the ecology of the systems. So we know how to invest money in terms of water purchasing, and now how to best deliver water to maintain those values. Collaborations work best when you have a good, open and transparent relationship amongst groups, quite honest. There's a level of trust amongst the groups and how they work together. And there's a good kind of coherent framework in the overall picture of where you're all heading. And so people can quite explicitly see where you want to get to, and it's you have that framework as to how you can all work together. And then, there's limitations associated with what you do in your collaborations as well. So understanding where those uncertainties still lie, where you can't necessarily answer everyone's questions, but you can make some progress in understanding some of the kind of objectives in those collaborative spaces.
Hello, my name is Stephen Bartlett. I'm a quantum physicist at the University of Sydney. I am doing research into the theory of quantum computing. And the theory of quantum computing is trying to figure out how we can make use of the strange laws of quantum physics to do information processing in a new and exotic way, and potentially be able to make computers that are more powerful than the ones that we're currently used to, because they operate on completely different principles, and all sorts of other technologies related to that. Now, in my field of physics and in quantum computing in general, we like to think of ourselves as a very collaborative field. The collaboration is maybe first and foremost important in just being able to discuss ideas and bounce ideas off of friends and colleagues in a supportive environment, and make sure that your ideas get fleshed out and thought through and criticized before you go ahead and put them out in the public domain. And this makes for a lot better results in the end, that we can test our ideas just in an argument or a debate, and help refine those thoughts really before they go more broadly. Another thing that is really important in our field is a close collaboration between the people who think about theory and work on the theory of physics and those who do experiments and test those theories and help shape the way that future theories go. So there's a huge back and forth in our field between people working on theories and coming up with new ideas and saying we should try this in the lab, we should test this. Experimentalists that they work with going out and pushing those ideas in the lab and saying, well, yes, we can confirm that, but this just reveals these new things, or that's not quite right, and your theory needs some work, and that comes back then to the theorists. And it's really a back and forth that's been going on for hundreds of years, but is now really one of the core parts of our area of physics. So one of my current passions, I guess, one of the most exciting things in my line of research at the moment is a big collaborative effort to really go out and see how we can build the basic technologies you would need for a quantum computer. Currently I'm involved in a huge international collaboration that includes theorists and experimentalists and materials scientists and the people in industry who develop the instruments that scientists use, and a whole range of people who are working together on a common project to try to push the basic technologies for quantum computers. So if you think of the early days of our computers now, where people were just developing transistors and even vacuum tubes, we're trying to do the same sort of thing for developing quantum computers. And making the basic elements, the quantum bits that are involved in a quantum computer. So this collaboration needs experimentalists to see if they can build these devices. It needs material physicists that make the materials that they can use in order to bring single quantum systems together. And it needs theorists like myself to say, well, here's how we can test how your device is working, and here's new ways that we can put your devices together to try to get to the piece of quantum physics that's going to let you process information. And so I'm working together right now with experimental colleagues here at Sydney, and those at Copenhagen and Harvard and Tokyo and all around the world in this large collaboration. It has students, it has senior researchers. It's quite an exciting team. We get together every year for a big meeting, and along with discussing all the physics, we go out for drinks together and have long chats into the evening about really what are the big problems in our field. And it's a really exciting time to be involved in this area of science, and in particular this way of doing science in a big international collaborative fashion.
Okay, my name is Alan Herschel, and I work for Peter MacCallum Cancer Institute in the Department of Biostatistics and Clinical Trials. I view that collaboration is really an essential part of advancing science, and the more specialised we get, the more we're dependent on liaising with specialists in other areas. I think that becomes clearer and clearer as time goes on. I see that in particular in my work. I work together with a highly multidisciplinary team, including a radiation oncologist and a medical physicist. I work with leaders in the field, and without their advice it would be impossible for the work that I'm doing to be done. I'm continually reliant on their guidance and direction and expertise in order to best determine how I should direct my research, how to make sure that it remains clinically relevant and clinically useful for the wider community. And without that, that expertise, that the work simply couldn't happen. So that collaboration is really essential for the work that I do. And I believe the same is the case in many fields of statistics, because unless you're collaborating together with experts in the domain of application that you want to apply your work to, you're going to be developing theoretical solutions which for one reason or another are very hard to apply into the real community. It's the experts in the application domain that can tell you, yes, this is something that we can practically apply or we can't. And as statisticians we are in danger of falling into the trap of becoming theoreticians if we don't collaborate with the experts in the fields that we are trying to have our work applied into.